Hello, welcome to the Chelsea FanCast, powered by Guinness, fueled by celery, and I am a rather shambolic Stamford Chidge, joined by a less shambolic Jonathan Kydd.
Are we actually live now?
We are live now.
Because we've just done about 10 minutes, everybody at home, and he then said, we're not live.
Some of their comments are choice. Get a load of this. This is the kind of grief I get. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, actually, that was quite polite.
What they all missed was that Martin told his best joke.
Yeah, I know. You missed the best bit. That's what we call premium content.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's for the Patreon subscribers.
There you go. Martin, I'll allow JK to introduce you formally.
It's the lovely Martin Wickham. Charm. I've just poured water all over myself.
And you call me a shambles?
No.
We are mirroring the performance from last night, aren't we? In many respects.
And which part of it is this? The first?
Well, the whole lot, really. I mean, it was utterly mad, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know about you, JK. I mean, I have actually been struggling all day. I'm a spent force after the emotional roller coaster of last night, and I'm injured too. I managed to injure my leg while I was bouncing up and down.
You are already injured. You've got a nasty Achilles tendon in.
I know. I injured. Yeah. On top of that as well. So there we go. A wonderfully chaotic evening, and we will no doubt be discussing it all on this show. Now, as ever, don't forget you can watch the show live. On our YouTube channel. When I forget, don't forget to press the button. Of course, it's also on our Facebook page, and of course, you can still listen to the show live. Every Monday and Friday at about 7:30. And if you want to do that, you go to Mixlr, which is chelsea-fancast.mixlr.com, where you can, of course, join in the chat by posting on the live chat page. As you can also do that on YouTube and Facebook, of course. So there you go. Now you can follow us on all of the socials at Chelsea FanCast, and of course listen to the show and subscribe as a podcast on Acast, Spotify, Apple, and all good podcast platforms, and some rubbish ones too. And of course, you got the deal is if you listen to the show, you have to give us a 5-star review. Otherwise, you're not allowed to listen to it. It's very, very simple. So there you go. Now, Martin mentioned it. If you're looking for premium content, do not go to Patreon because you won't find any there. We don't do any of that. It's basically if you like what we do, if you support what we do, and you're generous and lovely, then you will bung us a few quid every month. And if you're not, you won't. And it's okay because I love you equally whether you do or you don't. But if you do, you have to go to patreon.com/Chelsea FanCast. And if you do, I will actually eventually, if you want one, I will send you a mini Kerry Dixon banner. Not a mini Kerry Dixon. They're good.
They're good.
You like them?
Yeah, those banners are good.
You like them, yeah. So there we go. But you'll get a mini Kerry.
You told me to say. You told me to say that.
Did I? I may have done in the past. Yes. Yeah. Do it again in full JK voiceover mode.
Oh, okay. You got to cue me up.
And cue Jonathan.
No, you need to say Chelsea.
Oh yeah. If you really want one, I can send a mini Kerry Dixon banner to you.
They're good.
There we go. You've heard it from the voice himself. A mini Kerry Dixon banner. And of course, the other thing is you can join our Discord group. So if you like the chat room in Mixlr or YouTube or Facebook, you could basically do it 24/7 all week because it's fantastic, the Discord group, and lots of really good people in there. And of course, you're entitled to be in that, and I will send you the link for that. So there you go. Right, the pluggery has not stopped. We have more pluggery, and this is becoming very... I think we're also mirroring the new ownership, actually. The more commercial they want the club to be, the more commercial we are going to get as a kind of sort of perverted protest even. Yes, we have. There we go. I'm wearing it, in fact, as we speak. The now infamous This T-shirt has boiled the piss more than I ever thought it would of all of the right people. So there we go. If you want to have, and actually, from what I heard last night, and I cannot say what I heard last night, but you really need to hurry up and buy one of these because there won't be much time left while it's relevant. But yeah, we go. If they sell Connor, we riot. Chelsea FanCast T-shirt with the wonderful Conor Gallagher on the front, and the legend. If they sell Connor, we riot. If you want one of these, then all you have to do is go to the Chelsea Special. No, well, you can email us, the Chelsea Special at gmail.com. That's how you order one. and you can pay via PayPal there. They're 25 quid in the UK, including postage and packing, 28 quid in Europe, 30 quid in North America. If you want more information about it, it's very simple. Just go to the chelseafancast.com website. There's if you look at the top menu, there's a Chelsea Fancast merch button. If you go there, you'll find out about all the merch that we flog you. If you don't want a t-shirt, many people, not really t-shirt people, you could also have a mug or two. There you go. There's a white one and a one with a blue inside. They are 15 quid. 18 quid and 20 quid, depending on where you are in the world, including postage and packing. As I said, go to Chelsea. Well, just email us, thechelsea at gmail.com for more information. And then you can pay by PayPal and then we send it to you. It's all very simple. Do you like that, JK?
Marvellous. Have you got the picture of Poch selling it?
I need to go and find that and actually change that picture because I think that authenticates it much better. Even Poch thinks that I think Poch will riot if, in fact, they sell Connor.
But,
do you think?
In fact, as we'll discover when we get to the presser, Poch doesn't riot. Poch just keeps it all tucked inside himself.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to that. That will be in part 3, the JK presser. Because
dear.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Man United in a minute, and then we've got an opposition view. We've got one of our favourites actually, Ben, the travelling blade.
Lovely Ben, fantastic Ben.
Yep, he's coming. He is coming back, and then in part 3 we're going to preview the Sheffield United game. But we're going to talk about all of that after this. Yes, yeah. I mean, what a weird old night it was. It was a lovely start, actually. JK Marco, our beloved Marco, took this photograph last night, which I really like because, of course, it was the anniversary of dear Ray Wilkins's death, wasn't it? So I can't believe it was 2018, man. It's 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's gone really quickly.
That's frightening, isn't it? Bloody frightening. But what a lovely banner. Lovely to see that. And that was a great start, I thought. And then the actual match was a great start with Connor scoring in 4 minutes to ruin my prediction because I had Liverpool to score first and Chelsea. I should pick Chelsea. It was all going so well. The whole place erupted. It was so positive and fantastic. And then Cole Palmer scored a penalty, beautiful penalty. 2-0 up.
What a player!
I know. Well, we'll get into Connor Palmer being absolutely brilliant, no doubt. But the mood was fantastic, almost euphoric, being 2-0 up against United, who we all hate, and yet, JK, did you, like me, have that feeling of it ain't gonna last? And then no, it was Moyes', wasn't it? Moyes' brain fart pass, to quote you. And that was it. I said to Johnny, who was sitting next to me, I said, it was like a balloon, the air going out of a balloon. In the players, in the fans, in the stands. We've just seen this movie too many times, haven't we?
At the risk of being Mystic Kydd. Mystic Kydd. You remember I prophesied 4-4 and 3-3.
Yeah.
Knowing that both teams have terrible defences. I was next to a Man United fan and who I'd invited. And I said, don't worry, we're going to give 2 goals away really quickly. So I'm afraid I was a complete Cassandra about it all. Because I love getting excited by our team playing well. But then I get pissed off because we played so much better with so much more energy and so much more commitment than we did against Burnley. You just think, where the fuck was it against Burnley? What happens? What happens to this side? He played the same side. They just go out and run rings round them. I have to say, I thought United played with the same energy. And that Garnacho is a fantastic player. And once again, you've got to compliment the guru merchants who said that tried to buy him and Gordon, both of whom have been playing out of their skin this year. But Garnacho is just his streets ahead. He's so wonderfully competent, so quick. I wasn't surprised he scored 2 goals with our
simple Jack, mate.
Idiots in defence. But yes, so Yeah, it was great, but you just knew that all it needed. I'm afraid I felt the doom when Desazi missed the header, when he could have put it.
Well,
anywhere
that should have made it 3-0.
Yeah, it would have been 3-0. It would have been a completely different complexion. But we just find it very difficult to deal with those situations. But we went up. We pressed. Everybody ran around like with so much more energy. We looked like a decent football team. What I find so awful about watching us at the moment is there are moments of brilliance. Absolutely the same with United. Great moments of where you go 4 or 5 passes. I mean, I have to say Palmer is mostly at the centre of it all. But where we just flick the ball backwards, forwards, here and there, and whether you get the result at the end, you probably don't because the shot's not very good. But nonetheless, you think, or it's a good save by the goalkeeper, or we hit it straight at the goalkeeper. But you just think this side, if they could actually have any kind of consistency, we would challenge. And you just look at a player and you think, and Enzo had a very decent game last night. I thought Enzo was on it, and yet I can't quite work out where he's playing. And you just think, is this a tactical thing? Is this down to Poch? What is happening? Anyway, after the appalling fucking error by Caicedo, we were absolutely in line with it. And you've got to give the brilliance to Anthony, who played out of his skin last night. Apparently he's been a complete misfit for them, but to keep the ball in, if you remember, it was Fernandez's slice and he kept it in, and Caicedo was asleep, was completely asleep, and we all actually shouted at him before this.
Wake up!
It's exactly what we did. We said, for fuck. I went, for fuck's sake. I said,
did you? In the East Middle?
In the East Middle.
You dropped an F-bomb?
God, I was the stewards all went, what? They immediately looked at me. No, I just went, but we were Moises. And he didn't look at Badiashile. He didn't look. He just played the ball square. And Badiashile was, Badiashile, who's, I'm afraid, my patience is wearing thin with him.
Badiashite, more like.
It really is not good enough. He really isn't. Neither of them is. The Monaco misfits, both of them together. Jesus, Disasi and him. Disasi is just, you constantly think, I'm in fear whenever he gets the ball anywhere near the goal. I just think he's going to fuck up. You just think, and then he'll do something quite good and he'll actually play it out. And as long as Cole gets involved and Gusto, you think actually this is a good combination here. And then Jackson, bless his cotton socks, if he comes in from the wing, he looks a different player, as we've been saying all the time. You stick him in the middle, he's just all over the place. But so we were just absolutely level, and you could see the whole atmosphere changed. Everything sucked out of it because we're all going, well, that's it then, isn't it? There's going to be another goal pretty soon. And what was it?
Guess what?
Guess what? There fucking was. And it was the same move. Jesus Christ, how many more times? We were all asleep, of course. The goalkeeper rolls it. Everybody just rolls it. I don't mean the fans. Rolls it up. But Fernandez, hate him. Nasty little tick. You'd love him if he was playing for you. But, oh, God.
The amount of abuse I heaped out upon him, mate. F-bombs, C-bombs, W-bombs.
Absolutely.
Quite often as a triplet.
Always in the referee's face. Always at the save it. Anyway, but lovely ball out, and then Dallo, who we'll get onto this. Why wasn't he booked? Jesus Christ!
Hang on. Why weren't any United
players booked? What was going on? Must have a ref watch in later on because it was just bizarre. Anyway, flicks it over, and we look up, and Badiashile is going for the ball practically, but he's not. He's got 2 players behind him. You think, haven't you noticed that we were just shouting at all of us, behind you, as if it was some dreadful pantomime. Jesus Christ, we're all shouting that out at him.
It was a pantomime, mate.
It was pantomimic.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Oh, yes, it was. Martin, good interception.
Well, I just thought, I could speak to let people know I was proof of life, really, that I was still here.
Sorry, but I've gone on a bit of a splurge. I do apologise.
Yeah, can you clean up after yourself as well?
It's a repetition of Enzo and fucking Mount again, I tell you. You're going to call him something like, what did he say? You're not worthy or something.
Oh, no, there's a better translation. There's a better translation.
Do you know what Enzo...
I don't know for certain because my Spanish is GCSE level and I forgot most of it. But quite hilariously, one of these aggregator accounts now, I will do a language warning here. Enzo Fernandez to Mount as it went 4-3. This is Chelsea, you cunt. Coward.
But he said something about remember where you are and you're
That's
very low.
Probably some COD translation. I mean, this is coming from an account called Albi Celeste Talk. So
yeah, well, they were
Argentinian fanboy account.
But who saw this? Was he seen? Was it with
Someone
somebody
someone's
zoomed in on him or something?
someone zoomed in and done a
lip read it.
What do you call it? Lip read it or tried to lip read it. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't know how good Enzo's English is, but I could imagine. I don't know. I mean, I was ambivalent on the whole Mason Mount thing, and then Eric Ten Hag just completely threw him under the bus by going, "Yeah, he wanted to leave.
Yeah,
he wanted to leave,
but,
and Chelsea wanted to keep him." I think that was hilarious.
Even then, we still won't know the truth because if I'm Ten Hag, I would have done that just to wind it all up. But we'll get to Mount in a bit. We'll get to Mount in a bit. I mean, I thought Moyes really didn't do himself any favors with his awful mistake. It's so classic of what this team does, Martin, doesn't it? And as I said, it was like the Stamford Bridge was like a balloon with the air going out of it, and then. I think they were all collectively responsible for the second goal. I wouldn't pin that one on Badiashile, but I will pin the third on Badiashile because, Martin, that was just, again, I mean, I said on Monday, I said the trouble with this team is that there are players in this team who are clearly just not very good at football. I mean, technically not good with a ball at their feet. And that was another classic example of it. And now, having been 2-0 up, we're 3-2 down. It was that's just horrendous. I mean, the whole play. I mean, talk about toxic atmospheres. If the result had stayed the same, and we will get to what happened, but had that stayed 3-2, man, I mean, it could have been Poch's job, mate.
Could possibly have very well gone that way. As it is, people are talking about Ten Hag. It's all the good things about Chelsea, Cole Palmer, and all the bad things about Chelsea, the other 10 players, came out in the same game.
Yeah.
We have the stability of a fucking Jenga tower in the middle and the back, and so do Man United. And I mean, I didn't start watching until the second half, and then I missed all the good stuff, and then I watched it. We're 2-2 down. I'm already in a bad mood because I've seen the score updates come through. Watched us. Then the run up the right hand side. I've seen Garnacho make that run. Gusto's got his back to him, track him back. Then he stops running. And it's like, fucking hell, if he plays that ball right, it's 3-2 because he's got he's got half the Stamford Bridge to himself, and lo and behold, that's what happened. It was unbelievably bad, and there's just no. We said this before Enzo and Caicedo turned up. There's no stability in midfield, and it makes the defence look worse. Yeah. And this is when we had better defenders. Now we've got, the Monaco experiment. Hello, thank you very fucking much, Lawrence Stewart, you prick. He's ex-Monaco, join the dots. They're not geniuses. They're just using their old contact book. Yeah. The only time it went right was with Palmer because, obviously, Man City, Joe Shields, it paid off. So
fourth choice.
Palmer. Allegedly, we don't know that for certain.
Well, it looked like it because they've made the bids for the other ones. I
don't believe half the bullshit I see in reading the papers about.
Well, I can only posit an idea, and you can then knock me down in flames.
Yeah, I don't know whether he was third, fourth, second, or first choice, but at the time, I was told that the consensus was they'd overpaid at £42 million. So. There you go. It shows what we all know.
Yeah, I know. Nothing would surprise me of our sporting directors. If there's one thing to say about this football match, actually, do you know what? I've been listening to it a lot on the radio, and Andy Jacobs leaving early and stuff, and I did chuckle to myself. Well, I thought to myself, well, there's one person I know that never leaves early. It's JK because he goes back for refreshments in Aussie. So he has a reason never to leave. But if ever there was a match where the diktat of the hashtag never leave early was so applicable, it was this one. And the irony of this, I mean, I had a lovely time actually because I was with the Darren, lovely bloke Johnny who comes occasionally, was sitting next to me, who's great entertainment. And Darren joined me at half time. I haven't seen Darren. Dazamental. Those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a long time will remember Darren. So he was sitting next to me. And I said to Darren, I said, mate, 3-2. We're just about to go to the final whistle, as in, normal time, if you see what I mean, before added time. And I said, mate, this has just been a fucking disaster. This is because United were keeping hold of the ball really well, if you recall. And I said, mate, they're doing the Olays. I said, I think I might bail out because, I'm knackered. It's a long drive and fuck this shit. And I don't know what it was, but something compelled me to stay. So I stayed.
You're trying to beat the traffic.
Well,
Let
I
them
mean,
all
you
go
know,
first, you get a clear run.
well, I don't know what it was. I thought, no, fuck it, I'll stay. I don't leave early. Come on, you know. And then, of course, you know, Nonny comes on, and actually, you know, I think what a great impact player he is. By the way, makes that great run into the box. We were cheering him on right down where we are. He goes down, ridiculous fast for the penalty. Palmer gets the penalty. You kind of know he's going to score it. He does score it. My first remark to Darren was, how long have we got left to hang on? I mean, that's how bad it is. And Darren said, shut the fuck up, Chidge, we'll score another one. He actually said that. And as he was saying it, boom, Palmer puts in the winner. And we just went absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. I can't think, JK, of a match. Do you know what? There are two matches I could think of that were I mean, the City match was pretty mad, wasn't it? The 4-4, if you remember.
Yeah,
we had that
4-4 turning point, the City match, apparently.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the 4-4 against City, the 4-4 against Ajax. I remember. What about that? Was it 4-4 against Liverpool in the European Cup? Darren and I were talking about this last night.
Was that the one with the Alex free kick?
It was the one I can't remember.
We went 3-1 up in the first leg at Anfield. That was when Ivanovic got both his goals.
Yes.
They came back and we ended up with a 4-4 game.
Yeah.
That was because Liverpool came back into it, and I think it was in the first half. Alex hits an absolute rocket of a free kick. And then I think
he scored a couple of goals late on, but it ended up 4-4, and the Matthew Harding upper was bouncing, ridiculously bouncing. So that, I mean, I can't remember too many more mental matches than this, to be honest, JK. I certainly can't remember, you know, getting 2 goals in a minute at the end of the match to win it. That's just mad, isn't it?
1978.
Really?
Bolton.
Sam Allardyce's own goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good shout.
Yes. Good shout. I was there.
I was there. Yeah. Well done. I mean, it was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, I'll ask you first then, Martin, but you know, what was it like in the East Middle Aussies? Because I mean, it was mental where we were. Absolutely mental.
Oh no, we're all standing up illegally. We're all up.
You were all standing in the East Middle.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
yeah.
Fantastic.
After the penalty, everybody stayed on their feet. Because I think there was a universal feeling that we were going to score again.
Really?
Or something's going to happen. I just felt the eagerness that we got the ball. Once again, I wish we had this eagerness in other matches, that we got the ball out of the penalty area to go up the other end, you know, with the and everybody's going, come on, and because we're thinking, well, he's going to blow the whistle in a sec. I thought he'd blow the whistle after the corner was awarded. I thought he'd blow it then for 3-3, and then if he gives the corner, United are asleep, and Cole gets it, and you know he's got a great shot on him and blasts it in. You know, I mean. Good luck.
Did that deflection off McTominay hit the arm?
It did. Hit it under his side.
Okay, so it wouldn't have been a penalty if it hadn't been saved. If it had been saved, okay.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he hit arm. I think he hit underneath.
I looked upper arm, but if you're saying midriff, then
it was side of his body, I think. But
that would have been amazing. I'm not even convinced that penalties, wouldn't it?
What you'll say again? What?
It would have been amazing if it had been given hadn't gone in, been a penalty, and Cole would have scored.
Palmer had to take it again. Yeah. And particularly amazing.
Sterling might have taken the ball off him.
If goalie had saved it. Yes. Well, it almost happened.
Well, Madueke tried to get the ball.
Yeah, Madueke tried to get it. Yeah. You're thinking, what the fuck is going on?
We're all saying, fuck off.
It's exactly what we all said as well.
We didn't
say it like that. We said because we were in the East Ham Middle. So we said, go away. We said
it's not that basketball thing of taking the throw if you're the one who gets fouled. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a rule they should have to eliminate reduce diving. You know, some big lumbering centre half has to take the penalty.
But this is the problem when your manager doesn't say, no, you are the designated penalty taker. Everybody else, fuck off.
What is that? What on earth is that? You've got
leads to chaos like that.
The coolest penalty taker in the world, who even in the interview afterwards, I watched the game back afterwards, says, I'm missing it. Yeah, it's unlikely I'll miss, he says. Well, with a great confidence. He gave a wonderful interview. I mean, I'm actually beginning to fall in love with him. I just think he's quite, it's that thing. If you watch a fantastic player, like you watch Hazard, and you just think, oh my God, this player is just completely wonderful. And he has so many great moments. And with the fact that he took Dallo to the cleaners beautifully by beating him twice, and then Dallo chops him down, and the referee doesn't book him. Anyway,
on the point of Monday night, you may have seen the Leeds game, and it was on. There was nothing else, and they got a penalty late in the game. I think it was for 3-1, so not to decide the game. And a certain player tells one of his teammates to fuck off. This guy's taking the penalty. The player in question did that. Ethan Ampadu.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's interesting.
You can fill in the blanks yourselves.
Interesting. Listen, I mean, okay, it was brilliant. It's euphoric. I mean, what a way. I mean, I can't stand Man United. They're one of my top 5 hated list. Actually, my top 4 really, because I mean, I'm too young to really. I totally get why JK hates Leeds. But I was 5 for fuck's sake, so I'm a bit too young for that. So for me, it's Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Spurs. That's the 4 teams I despise most in the world, and I've got a special loathing for United. So it was just joyous to beat them. The way they cleared out at the end was just absolutely joyous. It was just lovely, really. I said it on X today. We should really just enjoy the joy, really, because we haven't had much this season, and that was a lovely moment beating them. We haven't beaten them for bloody ages as well, have we? Not since 2017. So absolute delightful. There's a lovely photograph that Darren took last night, JK. There you go. Me and old Dazza.
I said it was a wonderful picture, didn't I?
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But that's the joy. That is why we go. That is why we go. We don't get it a lot at the moment, but when we do, that's what it's all about. I just love that photograph. It kind of really sums it all up. And I think everybody who was left, actually Darren said this as well. He said he loved the fact that so many people have bailed out, and he was loving the fact that we hadn't. But Martin, I mean, I know you couldn't make it last night. Oh, hang on. Nathan's just said this. This is hilarious. Is that you jubilating, Chidge? Yes, I was jubilating, Nathan, as you can see. That's an in-joke for those of you who were on Twitter earlier today. But there you go. Martin, I mean, you were not able to go last night because you had a bit of bad diary planning, but you watched it, I presume, on the old box, did you?
Yeah, I was surrounded by 2 Tottenham fans who were enjoying it as much as I was, mainly because they don't like Man U either. Although I then realised that one of them had fucking Cole Palmer in his dream team, so he got loads of points for it. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was the best of us, it was the worst of us. It would be nice to see more of the best of us, because you see for 15 minutes a little inkling of what they want to do, and then 15 minutes later, it's gone to shit. And until one completely overrides the other, and there's going to be moments like this. I believe we should have scored more after we went 2-0 up. Is that right? I know I had to make a couple of saves.
So he missed an absolute obvious header where he was on his own far post, and he could have headed anywhere into the goal, and he just hit it over. So I mean, I would. I just wouldn't. There are some of them I wouldn't play. I just don't think they're proving anything. They're just bad every week.
Yeah. And Rob Dog, no, they were fairly ambivalent about Poch. So no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just I'm spent today. I mean, emotionally, if emotions actually make you really tired, I'm exhausted today, and in a delighted way, because it was just joyous when
I'm just hungover.
Well, I didn't drink too much because I was driving, so I didn't have that luxury. But no, I mean, I'm just delighted that I was there.
Yeah.
And
I was also happy for Gallagher to get the opener, because some of the shit he took in the week was just despicable. And you can joke about the selling corner and writing and all that stuff, but the actual accusation of racism against him was insidious. It was despicable. And fair play to Poch. Obviously the interview he did, the press, it came up on Sky Sports News what he said, and that was the first time I'd listened to him say something. I think, what, fair play. You're standing up for one of your players there, and I think there was just a genuine anger in his voice about the fact that they even got manipulated to make that allegation. Frankly, certain people who should have known better piped up and shouldn't have done as well.
Well, he fired
about that.
he fired both barrels at social media, which was delightful
Yeah.
to see, and he summed it up. He summed up the idiocy of it all,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is
I think the
known about
media
for a while.
themselves were caught out by it, and what the fuck's this?
Yeah, well, the
And
media,
then,
the
and then they
media,
were like, "Oh Jesus, this is really bad. No, we can't have this." And
yeah,
but it wasn't Chelsea fans amplifying this. It was these
yeah, but Martin,
weirdo accounts on X.
this is you know this better than most because you are a prime kind of
Conspiracy theorist.
No, you've been saying this for a long time. I mean, the trouble with the media and how lazy they are, and arguably a media that's now, kind of graduated through the era of social media. So a combination of environment and laziness is that, they draw so much of their news from social media. And I mean, the worst thing that they do is they use social media as a barometer of what supporters think. And it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
Because not all supporters are on social media for a start.
Yeah, they also create a bit of the Streisand effect, don't they? Whereas people don't know about something and then they say it because social media say it, and now loads more people say it.
Yeah.
And it
What's
helps
that?
no one.
The Streisand effect, did you say?
Yeah, the Streisand effect.
The way we were.
No, it's if you Google it, it'll come up. It's when people don't know about something, they take she took legal action over something that no one knew about, and then everyone knew about it, and it got really fucking embarrassing.
I thought it was a reference to Yentl. You were going to say it was my favorite
No.
film. No?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
You've all lost me, so I'm going to talk about football again. Actually, I'm not going to talk about football. I mean, Mason Mount didn't start, which I was surprised at because he scored for them against Brentford the other day. He came on. When did he come on? I actually should be able to tell you if I can read it.
It's quite late on. Was it?
Yeah, 86 minutes. So they were still leading then. Interesting that he came on and they lost after that. The booing. We did expect it. It was actually widespread, I thought. JK?
You didn't expect it. I did.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be as widespread as it was, I have to say.
I said he'd be absolutely taken to the cleaners, and he was.
Yeah.
He was. So, yeah, it was. But,
Was it more than Havertz?
Or much more.
Okay.
Much,
I wasn't there, so
no, but I also think it's the figures involved. Havertz, we've always thought was just slightly a bit of a, not a clown figure, but was always something slightly, but he kept being described as a player in a monocle with a cigar, didn't he? With a glass of prosecco. There was a kind of
smoking jacket.
Yeah. There's a kind of feel about Havertz. Yeah, he's trying to make an effort, but it's all a bit
curly slippers that are gold.
Yes, and a hookah, and there's a Cheshire cat.
Probably.
No,
not that kind of hooker.
No, that kind of a and a Cheshire cat in a tree, just with a grin. Whereas Mace was much more of a, it was commitment and effort. So in a sense, you could see it going the other way with him. I think it's because the amount of commitment we made for him. You could think the fact that he's left and kissed the badge when he scored the other day. People aren't fools. They look at it and think, okay, it's not taken very long. He's now committed completely to the other team, and we feel a bit upset. And I think it gets, you would know, Chidge, it gets translated into aggression, doesn't it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, I stand fast about never preaching, as to what people should or should not do in a football ground. It's entirely up to them. We really will find it very impossible to know the real truth behind what happened with Mount. I was disappointed. I think somebody who was so instrumental in helping us to win a European Cup, and had been at the club since a kid, probably deserved a bit more love and respect than he got. But I don't know the guy, I mean, he always came across as a really lovely guy. And yet, some of the stuff you read about his PR camp trying to make him the next Beckham and something, which there's a bit of plausibility to, given that he works with sports PR. They're very linked to Man United. He's wearing the number 7 shirt, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But the really interesting thing, though, I mean, you will be more privy to this than me because you're closer. But the reaction of all the Enzo aside, digging him out, but nobody went near him from the current squad, and a lot of them would have played with him. Chaloba would have been at the club with him for years.
Gallagher,
none of them went up to him. And secondly, a a lot of the celebrations were aimed firmly in Mount's direction. So I mean, it's this supposition and hypothesis and rumor, of course, but it does make you wonder if maybe something had gone on last year, and maybe some of the rumors that were negative may be more true than I was thinking, than I wanted them to be. JK.
Well, I didn't even notice the Enzo reaction to him, so we were so consumed by
you were dancing to the drum and bass version of Everything That Will Be All Right, weren't you?
I was thinking, why the fuck has this got drum and bass on it? I was thinking. I was also
fast, isn't it? I've heard it as well.
Yeah, and I was also objecting to na 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 na, which I'm afraid they won't. There are too many people liking it. There are too many people singing that.
Mainly the management company of Gala, because they must have made a fucking fortune off that song. It was released 25 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It's become a kind of staple, hasn't it? But no, we were one of the things I loved was I actually loved the fact that Palmer ran to Poch.
Yeah,
which I thought was a big statement, actually, big statement of how they feel about him as a manager as well. And they would. It was just, it was pandemonium, but at the same time, huge expressions of joy amongst the players, and hugging and rushing to each other. And once again, it exhibited how close the team is. The spirit of the team is enormous, which is a big positive. We mustn't forget that.
They play for each other and for Poch. It's clear as day.
Yeah, absolutely clear. And also they get on very well with the other coaches who are there always. The number of times somebody's about to be subbed, and Poch gives them a word in their ear. And one of the other guys, I don't know which one it is, gives them a word and hugs them. And there's lots of and then another one gives them a hug to go on and advice. So there's they're all working very, very much together. So I missed all of the thing with Mason, but the very fact that it's reported that he gets abused by Enzo to me speaks volumes. There must have been an enormous falling out, and you wonder whether, in fact, in the end, he couldn't be bothered to play. Was he one of them who just said, "Well, I'm not playing"? In which case, if Enzo is, the more and more one discovers about Enzo, who clearly wears his heart on his sleeve, he felt he was being let down. And if he feels he's making an effort and our other players in the team aren't making an effort, you can understand why he doesn't like him. If he thought that Mace made no effort at all, he's got it against him. And once again, it speaks volumes to me about how committed Enzo Fernandez is to the club, actually, which I think is a great positive. And I think they're committed. I just think it's this kind of this functional thing that goes on. It's what I feel we'll go into this business again of just saying which of the players we'd like to carry on playing who are committed to this. And Enzo, despite his form dipping in and out, it really tries, and once again, I always say, well, we've always had players who've tried, they've not been very good. In his instance,
some have been very trying.
Very, very trying indeed. Clearly, in his instance, he's we've established, World Cup winner. It will, I think, get better for him. I think it will gel. I'm not sure he's in the right position. I think tactically we could maybe work out. He needs perhaps to be. It's once again, it's a problem. What happens if Connor gets sold? It's a distinct possibility, and they happen to buy more of a creative player. Does Enzo come back and play a bit further back? I think
he looked better back, but you're right. I think, mate, I was a bit pissed off with both Caicedo and Enzo on Monday. I do think that it is a problem, but I do accept that the problem might not be that they're shit. The problem might be that they're not played in the right position.
Well, it's weird, isn't it, how they seem to get caught out. Caicedo is always vulnerable. The ball is played around him, and with it, you just think, what's going on here? What's this?
Well, I mean, what he did the other night was definitely shit, and I've seen him do things like that a lot. But there we go. We better wrap this up because we've got a lovely guest awaiting. At least we did a minute ago. He's disappeared, which is really a bit frustrating. I mean, look, what I will say is I'm not going to say anything like I think we might have turned a corner and European football is within sight, because every time we've said that, it's gone tits up. I'm just going to say, like I said earlier on, let's just enjoy the joy, because last night was joyous and I'm still buzzing now. So, that's all we need to say, really. Right. We're going to have a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to have the opposition view. We'll see you in a sec.
Real fans, real opinions.
I'm Jason Cundy, and you're listening to the Chelsea Football Fancast. Up the Chelsea!
Footballfancast.com.
Welcome back. I'm Stamford Chidge. This is the Chelsea Fancast, the Friday night preview show, and I am joined, of course, by Jonathan Kydd.
Hello.
And the fabulous Martin Wickham.
Good evening.
The voice of reason. And now it is time for this.
The opposition view.
There, you're so quick. If you blink, you miss it. It's Ben, the travelling blade. He's back. Me and JK are so excited that you're back, Ben. How the devil are you?
Yeah, well, I'm doing better than my beloved Blades are, thankfully. Can't be doing much worse than them. I'd probably be 6 feet under if I was.
Oh, mate, is it that bad?
Yeah, it's I think probably the last time, I can't remember last time, but I remember a couple of years back came on here when we were all sort of watching games behind closed doors, having to tune into empty stadiums, and we were sort of talking about how desperate a season it was for us, and this one is just as bad, if not worse, as the last time we got relegated. It has been the season never got going, it never started. You know, there's like the old phrase, oh, it's going a bit downhill. To quote an old Top Gear episode, it never went up the hill.
Oh dear,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the fact that I think last night was actually a pretty good result for us. The fact that, because we were all going into that thinking this is going to be another 6, 7, 8-0, if not more. So
you held them out really well, and it wasn't until that McAllister worldie that you looked like you were going to get beat. Actually,
yeah, it was really frustrating. So obviously the first, because I thought, you know, we got to about 16 minutes in, and it sounds a bit like as if we're sort of exaggerating for the sake of comedic effect, but we're going, oh, it's 16 minutes in and it's like 17 minutes in, it's 0-0. Pretty good. And like I said, it sounds like we're exaggerating for the sake of comedic effect, but the fact that we were like, I think like 3-0 down inside 15 minutes against Arsenal at home, that is genuinely a threat we face every week now. So the fact we'd got to that then, you're thinking 0-0, we're doing okay, you know, they're not really forcing too many saves or hitting the post, and not, I know they're all over us, but we seem to be okay here. And then Gerbic, just as I watch quite a bit of non-league now, and I've not even seen that in non-league in the last year, just boots it into Nunes over his head into the net. You're thinking, for God's sake, with all this like brilliant, resolute defending, backs to the wall, but, you know, regimented stuff, and then you just go ahead and do that. And it's such a, I mean, like I said, like, if we're going to lose to Liverpool, let it be like goals from McAllister, you know, thinking flipping it, you know what I mean? I'm still annoyed about that one because I'm thinking who's closing him down. But, you know, a moment of brilliance.
Last night? Did you go?
I would say, unfortunately, yes. But actually, you know what? I thought we were going to get absolutely smashed. And the fact we got to celebrate a meaningful goal in front of the away end was rather special, because we're not going to get many of these Premier League grounds in the future. So getting a meaningful, well, it was meaningful at the time, getting to celebrate that equaliser. I'm not a fan of Liverpool in the slightest.
No, really?
So get to
you too, Ben. Who knew? Universal, mate. Nobody likes them. Nobody likes them. It's a media bloody conspiracy and bullshit that everybody loves Liverpool. No, I don't know one proper football fan that likes Liverpool. In fact,
not at all. I think, well, my flatmate at uni was an Everton fan, so I think a lot of his hatred rubbed off onto me as well.
Yeah, there we go. Listen, I was going to... Well, I think I might know the answer to this, given what you just said. But, I mean, has Chris Wilder made a difference at all?
I think sort of yes and no. That's an awful question. I mean, so when he first came in, you could see a bit of an uplift. So I think his first game actually was Liverpool at home. And we lost 2-0, but the second goal was very, very late on. And I don't think it should have been a goal. I think we got fouled in the build-up. And then they went through and scored. So it really should have been a 1-0 loss. And you're going, wow, this is not bad, given that the game before we lost 5-0 away at Burnley, which was Heckingbottom's last game. And then we had obviously we had the game against Liverpool, and we only lost 2-0. I said should have been 1. I can't remember the game after, but then not too long after that, we actually beat Brentford at home. And the first couple of games in December, you're thinking, seen a bit of an uplift here. We got the point away at Villa Park. You're thinking, all right, we're starting to scrape a few points here and there where we were getting nothing beforehand. But then January came, and like I said, we set the record with the first team to concede 5 goals or more in 4 consecutive home games. So it was just straight back to, we lost 5-2 to Brighton, 5-0 Villa, 5-0 Brighton, then the 6-0 Arsenal in consecutive home games. And there were some fans that are really ardent. I mean, I absolutely adore Chris Wilder, but there's some fans that are that ardent they won't accept any criticism of him. And they were saying, "Oh, we're better with Wilder than we were under Hecky." And I'm going, after that 5-0 Aston Villa, we are right back to square one, right back to where we were at the Burnley 5-0. A week or so later, we had the 6-0 against Arsenal. But I think obviously we came back, like you're saying, the game on Saturday where we threw it away against Fulham. That's just textbook now. We haven't got the legs or stamina. We never have all season. But you're thinking, wow, we went 4-1 up before it got ruled out, but 3-1 up. Would we have done that under Hecky? Perhaps not. And last night probably would have been like a routine 4 or 5. So the last couple of games, we've seen a bit more fight and belief in the players actually having some attacks, which sounds so pitiful, but a lot of the siege just been standing off as absolute passions and getting mauled. So started out better, became as bad, if not worse, than Hecky, and then last couple of games is back a little bit better. So he's sort of like a bit of a U in a way, shallow U shape.
Ben, what does he do? How does he set them up? Do you defend and then move forward on the break? Is that what he does, or is it more of a press? Does he press up further up the field? What's he up to? Because he did before. Remember, that was when you were challenging. It was a big press and seemed to be all around.
Attacking centre backs, wasn't it?
Yeah. With McBurney, a kind of slightly mad, bearded, eccentric, and he's now had his hair cut and he looks quite normal. He's not the same madman that he was. But what was it? Well, how does he do it now, Chris Wilder?
Well, we sort of have a very similar formation, but I think we don't really have. I mean, we didn't have much possession back in the glory days then, but we sort of used to move forward as a team and have that press. But now we can't really afford to do that. So it is a bit more on the break. I think if you saw obviously the goal last night, we got it sort of deep on, got it up to McAtee, who sent in a crossing. I think we sort of quite reliant on the runs forward of Brereton Diaz, who's been brilliant for us since coming in on loan in January. So we're quite reliant on him running forward. I remember, if you look back to I think the Fulham game as well, I think once again it was a few sort of quick getting on the break and sort of, if we can get a few men forward and sort of exploit, if we can set up sort of you'll see them in football like a 3-on-3 or a 3-on-2 kind of thing. So it's a bit more on the break now than I think it definitely used to be. And before, obviously in the past, it was a bit more the whole team moved together and set up passing triangles and so on with the overlapping centre backs. Now it's a lot more the goals that we are scoring and the bit of joy that we are getting going forward it's more on the break kind of things and catching people on the break and just relying on a bit of, McAtee and Brereton Diaz and sometimes McBurney as well, just to string a couple of key incisive passes together and hopefully get on shot on target. But we are still quite.
Are they the speedsters? You normally have a couple of really quick players going. Before, as you say, you seem to have big fullbacks or almost centre halves who were overlapping before, and they said that was the way you played a couple of years ago. But who are the speedsters now that they're playing? If it's coming out breaking from the back, who is that?
Yeah, so a few months ago it would have been Cameron Archer, but I think he's still on the sidelines with an injury. I think he's probably our fastest player, but he's sort of out now. So now you're looking at your Ben Brereton Diaz, James McAtee as well. They're your main two. If he plays, our younger lad Andre Brooks, he's pretty nippy down the wing as well. I know he had a pretty good game away at Villa Park in December as our main outlet, but he sort of comes on more as a sub. So you're looking at mainly Diaz and second McAtee as well, who's on loan from City.
Yeah,
was Ben Brereton
sorry,
Diaz
Martin,
bought?
go on.
No, sorry. Was Brereton Diaz bought from Villarreal, or is it just a loan signing?
It's a loan, unfortunately, with no option to buy.
Okay. Yeah, and did he travel out to Chile this last international break as well?
Yeah, he did. I think he was going to get kicked out because he couldn't learn Spanish, but then I think he must have downloaded Duolingo and managed to sneak back into the squad. But yeah, he was
a long flight
away with Chile. on the international break.
Ben, the biggest problem because you're right. Actually, you know, other than the Liverpool game, which very few teams in the league would expect to get a result at Anfield, but 3-3 against Fulham, 2-2 against Bournemouth. So a couple of draws for you, and scoring goals doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. Your big problem, it seems to me, is the fact you leak them even worse than we do. 80 goals so far this season, which is the most conceded since Ipswich in 1963-4 season. Is that the problem?
Definitely, yes. I think for a large part of this season, it was both ends. Just absolute. A lot of the games we were sort of, you're going away to Arsenal, you're not getting this. I mean, that's sort of an anomalous result, but I think even at when we came to your place as well, it was a bit more of a routine 2-0 loss, but
yeah,
we were barely getting a sniff at all on the box. That shows how poor the attack was that day. But yeah, definitely
we didn't meet up then, did we? We tried to meet up that day. What happened?
No, it was unfortunately. Well, I think I had to lie to get into this pub. This guy was asking me, he's like, "Oh, where's your?" I managed to button up my coat so he couldn't see my Sheffield shirt.
Was this the Cock Tavern?
Yeah, and he was like saying, "Oh, let's see your ticket." And I was like, "I've not been to the game." He was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I've not been." And somehow he managed to believe me. So I just about managed to smuggle myself in, but then, I think we unfortunately didn't quite manage to meet up.
So you actually made it into the Cock Tavern, and we still didn't meet.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
I was like I don't know what I was, but it was like
I think when you were with me that day, Chidge, weren't you with me? And
no.
And you weren't. Oh, okay.
You were with me.
Oh, right.
That's why you can't remember.
All is explained. Yeah.
Investigation. It was my birthday the next day.
Oh yeah. I was definitely in the Cock then, wasn't I?
Yeah, we were way at the back.
It's good to know that we're talking about the really important things about where we were drinking. Sorry, Ben, I interrupted your flow on how appalling Sheffield United's defence are. Would you like to continue?
Absolutely useless. But no, yeah. I mean, it's just been they've sort of been running around like headless chickens, leaving men free all over the place. The organisation, just all the basics. I mean, I think Liverpool's third goal and their least memorable goal of last night is pretty much. I think that we've got so much poor stamina all over the pitch, but it just crosses it in, and then it's just a free header, even though it scored. But just a free header for the lads, and you got like people just sort of jogging back, but. All season we've sort of been chopping and changing whether we're playing 4 at the back or we're playing 5 at the back. We've got people like Austin Trusty who's bad enough as a centre back, sometimes playing at left wing back, getting spun for an absolute merry dance against the likes of Arsenal and even teams that haven't got the superstars of like Saka or Salah. Someone like like a Palace or a Fulham, still absolutely just sending him for a dance and. So sort of chopping and changing around with that. You got injuries popping all over the place. But yeah, the defence, I mean, you've got someone like Anel Amadodzic, who we're all quite excited about because he was brilliant for us in the Championship last season, popping up with a few goals, sort of being a bit, you mentioned the overlapping centre-back. So the poster boy for that back in there, or one of them was Chris Basham. And he's now on his way out, bless him, especially with a broken ankle. But last season, Anel was looking a bit like Basham 2.0 and even a little bit better than Basham used to be. And we're thinking, wow, this is like a youngish lad. He's about 24, 23. He's big. He was brilliant in defence. He was popping up with goals thinking, wow, he might be a real asset for us in the Prem. He's been absolutely awful for us this season. It's actually been Jack Robinson, who's not been the best, but just because he's actually looked arsed and actually seemed to be trying and putting his body on the line, has sort of been our best defender. I mean, who else have we got back there? I'm trying to think, but I think my brain's just trying to, like Austin, they've all been poor. Like we bought Trusty in. He's out of his depth. Just always seems about 10 seconds behind the game. Same with Anel, just 10 seconds, always trying to pull people back. Just slow, out of position, running around like headless chickens, leaving men open, completely out of their depth.
Yeah. Does Davies play?
I think he's injured again, to be fair. I think he sort of came on for 5 minutes and was injured again. Tom Davies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came on, I think the first time we saw him was away at Spurs back in September, and I think he got injured then. And I think he sort of came back again for a couple of games. I'm trying to think a few weeks back. I don't know if he came on against Arsenal or one of the games after that, but he's barely played, to be fair. I think he's injured again. I think he's on a 3-year deal as well.
Got a message from our mate Texas Dave, who is, I think, still ahead of me in the Prem Predictions League. Confirm or deny, Dave. Cheer up, you're better than Wednesday. I thought you might appreciate that, Ben.
It's a bit cruel, though, isn't it, Chidge? Cruel.
No, it's not, because I think, Ben must hate Wednesday, so I thought that might cheer. Yeah, see, it's cheered him up. What more do you want?
Yeah, but they're shit.
They are.
We hate Wednesday. We hate Wednesday, Ben. Goes back a long way.
Very long way.
I've got an awful feeling they're going to stay up there and we're going to play them next season, and I feel physically sick facing them, especially with Arsenal.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, you're 10 points off 17th. You got 8 games left. I mean, are you down? Do you reckon?
We were down before the season started, and I know it's easy to say that now, but I genuinely, I think when we got promoted, we actually started the Prem, and for the most part of the whole of the season, we've had a worse squad than we had last year. Obviously since last season, obviously we've still got James McAtee, but losing Tommy Doyle, who's now at Wolves and doing really quite well. Losing Sander Berger, who's from all accounts apparently having a good season at Burnley, and mainly losing Iliman and Jai, absolutely flatlined us. And then we're sort of rushing around late on, like we've signed in like Hamer and Souza, but I think Hamer couldn't play until the second game because we signed him the night before the first game of the season. Cameron Archer didn't come in until like the start of September. Such a makeshift squad, just patchwork here and there, like just trying to patch up holes whilst it's sinking. But I think if we'd have kept the exact same squad as we had that got us promoted in the Championship, I think we'd have probably still got relegated, but we'd have been a bit more like Luton now. Like I think we'd have been a bit more like sort of like a Jack Russell in like a pit of lions. Like you're out of your depth, but you're still going to like bare your teeth. You don't know your own size and just give it all a go and see if you can bloody a few noses. We wouldn't have been as good as we would have been in last time in 2019 with the overlapping centre backs. We were never going to reach those heights, but would have been far better. And I think if we had like Sander and Njai and Tommy Doyle still, which probably would have never happened. But if we'd had that Championship team again, I'd have been more like, let's just like be like so like raring to go and look, we're probably going to go down, but let's just get into it head first, get stuck into it and just see where we come out the other side and give it all we've got. As soon as we're thinking we've got them and Jai's gone, Sander's gone, I thought we have got absolutely nothing to offer. And it was just bleak. So it wasn't even like underdogs anymore. It was just like pitiful all the time.
Ben, what happened, Ben? Why were they sold?
I mean, I think they were in the last year. They were coming into the last year of their contract. Something that Prince Abdullah wants. Yeah, something that he wants because we've got a lot of players whose contracts are running out in this summer. And it's something that he wanted because it boosts motivation, which has clearly worked wonders for us this season. Hence why we're pushing for the top half of the table. But they were coming to the last half of their last year of their contracts, and I don't know. I mean, apparently Sander's not on much more money than he. I don't know. He must have just been for money because us and Burnley very, very similar kind of outfits, really similar size club, similar size like areas. The money's not that much difference. I don't really know what swung it with him. I know with Njai, I think his boyhood club is Marseille. You've got people from the director saying, we offered him everything we could. But I think it was for me, it was a case of too little, too late. And, it was, I think, and Sander went the week before the season started and Njai about 10 days before that. So it was just really, a few weeks before the season started and you lose your two main assets, Njai, most people say the best player we've ever had. And we're selling him for like nothing. I think it was like to try and like bring in a bit of money as well that we've just wasted on, crap. Hence why we are where we are. Yeah. But just losing both of them, the fact that we just couldn't keep hold of them, killed us. Absolutely
disappointing. I mean, I for one will be, we'll all be sorry to see you go because we love having you on the show. But I'll also be sorry to see Sheffield United go because, I mean, Martin and I were talking about this earlier. I mean, I would have gone up there for Sunday and then they screwed it with the kickoff time, which was apparently because of some race that the Premier League...
The marathon.
Didn't realise had been going for like ever. I mean, I'm on the Supporters Trust and we actually were quite instrumental in getting the Premier League to sort out getting a refund for those of us who'd booked travel up there. But What an absolute farce! But I mean, it's a late kickoff for you too, so it must be a bit annoying and inconvenient.
Yeah, I don't even know why it got moved in. Was it because of like Europe or like tonight's or last night's?
Because our game, because our game against Man U was moved to Thursday.
Yeah,
so
our
as a
game. Well,
consequence, it moved
yeah,
to Sunday. Yeah,
we were playing last night as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess why. But it was like 1:30, then it was like I don't know 4:30, then 5:30. But yeah, I think it classed for like the Sheffield Marathon or Sheffield Half Marathon or something. But yeah, no, it's a real shame because I think like we had a few Brighton fans come up a few weeks ago. I mean, they've had a merry old time at Brighton. They'll be crying to see us go. Them lads, they're flipping put 10 goals past us in 2 games at Bramall Lane. But
Well, I was looking forward to a chip butty and a pint with you.
yes, it'd have been it's a shame. There's a really nice well, sort of these Brighton fans. They said, "Oh, no, there's a pub called the Beer Engine just off of London Road, about a 5 to 10 minute walk from Bramall Lane." And these Brighton fans, I think I saw them in the pub at like both games, and they're saying, "Oh, we're going to be really sorry to see you go because we love coming up to the Beer Engine, like a really good away day and that." So yeah, we at least we've got good pubs, but we've not got anything else going for us. But just a few good pubs around the ground.
Well, hey ho. Right, so we are going to turn up on Sunday. Sadly, not me and Martin. JK, are you going?
I have a ticket. I'm not sure about whether I have a lift.
Yeah, because you'll need a lift.
Hey,
because you can't get back because the trains are buggered, aren't they? That's the point.
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I daren't ask you this. I mean, actually, I'm quite ambivalent about this, as I will make clear in part 3. But I mean, how do you see it going, Ben? I mean, we are very flaky at letting goals. I don't know if you managed to catch sight of last night's match, which was one of the most bonkers matches I've ever seen. But we are flaky at the back. Seriously.
Well, I saw the last 3 minutes where I saw about 2 goals. I saw the penalty.
That was the best bit, really.
Yeah, I saw the penalty and then I saw the winner as well. So I found it was a very amusing, entertaining 3-minute watch, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think we will lose. I can see us sort of getting a goal. I think one thing, obviously, last night I didn't see much of the game, but the fact that you got a penalty late on and then you actually went on to score again after that, that'll really kick it. The fact that you're in the 99th, God knows what minute it was at that point, 100th minute or whatever, still kicking on and scoring, then that's when we ship goals left, right and centre, whether it was like Spurs away. We were conceding late the other day against Fulham. That was like the 93rd minute onwards.
Yeah.
And for us, like we might be like sort of in a game or maybe even have a result on the cards up to the 90th minute, maybe on the it's still rare, but let's say that the times that we have had a result on the cards, it's when you get in those last few minutes that we haven't half thrown away. I think we've thrown about 8 or 9 points away this season, whether Villa away late goal, Bournemouth away late goals, Fulham late goals, Spurs throwing away late goals. And I think that if you aren't already winning in the 90th minute, that is where you will win the game in the 90 plus minutes, because we just switch off. We're absolutely shot to bits by then. Wilder's probably done some dodgy old subs and brought Norwood on, who's just not got legs to stand on. And you'll Cole Palmer, someone will just, as he did last night, someone else, Cole Palmer, Sterling, whoever it will be, someone with a set of legs on them will just get a goal, because we cannot defend past the 90th minute. Like one of my mates said the other day, we sort of, for us to have any chance of winning, we need to be sort of 3 goals up in going into the 90th minute.
A bit like us.
Yes, exactly that.
We need to score 4 to get a 1-goal win.
It's got 3 all written all over it. It's got 3 all written all over it, hasn't it? Seriously, Ben, I mean, you're going to stick a number on it. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go 2-1 win for Chelsea.
Really? Okay. We've conceded 2 goals or more in our last 6 matches.
Yeah, but it's us.
All right, mate.
We don't do football.
Listen, it does look very likely that we won't see you next season, much to JK and my sadness, it has to be said. I really hope if you do get relegated, I hope you bounce straight back up and we see you, because I really want to go. And I haven't been to Bramall Lane. It's a proper old football ground, so I'd love to have an away day up there. And as I said, Martin and I certainly would have gone up there had it not been for the rearranged time. JK will be there, won't you? He thinks it's 50-50, yeah?
Yeah.
Come
50-50.
on. I'll buy you a pint if you come up.
A pint of sherry in JK's case.
Yeah, sherry.
Oh, dear.
or San Pellegrino with a little bit of juice in it.
Yeah. He's the non-drinking member of the Chelsea Fancast. Martin and I, on the other hand, Ben, would have loved to have had a pint with you.
Yeah, it would have been Gallon and Magnet a lot.
Yeah, well, I like Sheffield's a decent city, actually. You can have a lot of fun up there. So there we go. I'm gutted that I can't go, but there you go. Look, Ben, as always, it's absolutely delightful to see you. We love having you on the show. I'm very sorry it's all gone a bit pear-shaped for you this season. But I mean, actually, you said back in whenever it was, I can't remember, I think it was October, wasn't it? We saw you last, and you said, you know, this was written on the cards from day one because of the shenanigans that have been going on at the club. So probably not a surprise. But as I said, look, I wish you luck. And you know, if you do go down, get back up, and we'll catch up with you next season. But until then, it's been lovely having you on the show again.
Yes, it'd be a shame. Hopefully, we might meet each other in the cups, perhaps. As always, that. But hopefully to be back on this channel again before long. Hopefully. Well,
I do hope so, Ben. Ben, lovely to see you, and good luck, and we'll see you next time.
We're gonna need it. Cheers, lads.
Lovely stuff. There you go. It's Ben, the Travelling Blade, Sheffield United fan, and we will see him hopefully the season after next. But we're going to go for a quick break now, and then we'll be reviewing or previewing even the match ourselves.
Real fans, real opinions.
I'm Jason Cundy, and you're listening to the Chelsea Football Fancast. Proper Chelsea.
Footballfancast.com.
There we go. Stamford Chidge here, Chelsea Fancast Friday night preview show, and I am joined as ever by Jonathan Kydd.
Hello.
How are you diddling?
Very good. He's very good, isn't he, Ben? Excellent.
What a lovely, 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 lovely lad. I mean, I feel gutted for him. I mean, he said he called it. You know, when we had him on in October, he said, "Mate, they fucked it from word go." You know,
yeah,
awful. Hopefully, we'll see him again. Martin Wickham is our other member of the Troika, as I like to call it.
That's what it's called now. Yeah, lovely to be here.
It's lovely to see you.
And that was revealing about Sheffield United, because it sounded like they handicapped themselves by selling their two best players at the start.
Yeah, funny that, you know, we'll be doing much the same at the end of this season, I suspect. But there you go. Lovely to see you, Martin. It's about time you and I had a pint together. It's been way too long since I've actually seen you in the Cock Tavern.
I'm sure May time there will be opportunity.
Let's hope so. Right, now, before we get into our preview, which I'm very excited that I have a sting for Jonathan's presser summary of sorts. But we really ought to tell you about, as we always do, there is a new issue of this that is available now. There we go. CFC UK, the April issue is out. And I hate to tell you this, if all of those millions of people out there who are really excited and looking forward to seeing my next legendary seminal article for CFC UK, I missed the deadline. For the first time ever, I missed the deadline. I got it all wrong and sent it off to DJ on Sunday night. And because
shambles.
I know, shambles, mate. So there you go. I might publish it on the Chelsea Fancast website, but sorry about that. I'm sure actually most of you are relieved. Anyway, look, you can get it as you could do last night at the CFC UK store before the game, or from a seller up and down the Fulham Road going, hurry up, it's only £1. If you can't do that, then you can subscribe. Now, DJ put a tweet out the other day actually on X, and you can get, I think I might have retweeted it. If not, I'll do it again. But it's got the subscription form for next season. So you can start subscribing for next season's series of CFC UK fanzines right now. So what you want to do is you want to email fanzine@cfcuk.net. And you can pay via PayPal to the same email address. And the cost for a season subscription, hard copy sent in the post, will be 20 quid in Europe, 45 quid in Europe. Sorry, 20 quid in the UK, 45 quid in Europe, 60 quid for the rest of the world. If you don't want a hard copy, you can get a PDF emailed to you, every issue emailed to you as a PDF, 6 quid for that, or £1 each. So there you go. You know what to do. Now, the other thing that we are big fans of and like to tell you all about, of course, is this, which is a Chelsea pitch owner's share. That is a real Chelsea pitch owner's share. That one is signed by Frank Lampard. Ooh. As you all know by now, this is a fantastic organisation. No other club has this in the UK, certainly. And what it does is it gives the supporters a very powerful say in what happens to the Stamford Bridge pitch and ground going forward. And as you all know, we're about to either redevelop it or relocate or temporarily relocate or whatever. Who knows? We don't know yet.
Or change the contractors every 2 years.
Yeah, well, I noticed that. Yeah, they've just booted out the really expert person, Jane Smith. What's it, Doodah? I can't remember her name.
They seem to. I can't remember her name, but they seem to have replaced someone who worked with Todd Bowley on the Dodgers Stadium with someone who worked on the magnificent Sophie Stadium, also in LA, which the Rams use. So it does seem a little bit like they're just rearranging deck chairs and like giving the impression that they're doing something. But as we know, as I think we're all CPO shareholders on this podcast, we haven't had a proposal yet, so nothing has happened, and that's how ignore the propaganda and bullshit. Until there's a proposal, nothing can be accepted or rejected. And if you want to move, the only way you can do so to have a say on it is if you buy a share. There are other voices on the CPO who believe we should move. We've heard them in the past, so it's it's not just some one voice. Everyone says the same thing and has the same haircut. There are dissenting voices, so ignore the bullshit and buy a share and have a say.
Yeah, if you don't have a, it's basically, if you don't have a ticket, you can't come in. So all you have to do is buy a ticket, and then you can have a voice, whichever way that voice would go. But as I said, it is important. It's our spiritual home, and it prevents anybody from just coming in and glibly doing what the hell they want, which is important. The share prices are 110 quid for an electronic share, 175 quid for a frame share signed by a Chelsea player. All you have to do is go to the Chelsea website, chelseafc.com, and search for Chelsea pitch owners. So there we go. Now, it's time for JK's presser summary, and I have this to introduce him. See if he approves. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I can reveal that he was not only dancing, but playing imaginary bongos. That tells me that I think you approve of that.
Yeah, good. But is this a news roundup, though?
It is in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. Can we do Ref Watch?
No.
No, we would be here 3 hours.
No, we wouldn't. We just say how shit Judd, whatever his name was, Jared Glitterati. What's his name?
Yeah, but it'd take you 3 hours to do it because you'd be so pissed off.
No, I wouldn't. I'd just say he was.
Would be furious.
No, I wouldn't. But I could say it in a sentence. He was fucking useless. There we are. Ref Watch. Good. That's it.
There you go. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, just before you start, I didn't see this because, of course, as we all say, we don't watch the press conferences because JK does his press summary, so we don't have to. But I heard that his post-Burnley presser, saw a lot of people on X saying that's what we want to hear. That was more like it. Apparently did well. It was the one where he was defending Connor and basically getting a bit riled up about stuff. People saying, yeah, this is more like it. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did. He got riled. Yeah. And he got riled in this one.
Okay. Tell us all about it.
In riled. Well, he started off by being peculiarly smiley. And he looked very strange. He looked like the doctor in Enterprise, if anybody happens to be a Trekkie, it was an alien who had a kind of smile like that. And he had that. And I thought, what a very strange face that is, Poch.
Dr. Knox.
Phlox.
Phlox.
Well done, Chidge. Very good, Chidge. Excellent. Wow. Yeah. That series.
He kind of reminds me of you, actually.
What Phlox does?
Yeah.
There is an element of that. I can actually do an impression of Phlox. Yeah.
Then, off you go.
It's all very like that all the time. That's the way he does it with his American voice like that. Okay. I have this Indiluvian sandworm which I really like to eat. Anyway, enough.
Martin's about to leave, I think.
Rightly so.
Rightly so.
Anyway, he was so smiley, I didn't know how to take it. I put it.
Wasn't it right after the Man Utd game he did that press conference?
Yeah.
No wonder he was fucking smiling.
No, yeah, the one he did. This one I'm about to talk about. He did it last night. Yeah. And he was asked, what went through your mind as Cole Palmer's goal was scored? And he said, we were the better team. It was fair to score in the last minute. And I was thinking, yeah, but okay, but what about the errors? You're going to talk about them at all? We made a mistake. Aha, he is. And suffered a big impact emotionally. Wasn't easy to deal with this. I think what he meant was their heads went down. Yeah, and of course they gave away another goal. In second half, we controlled the game. Well, I suppose, yes, it was.
Apart from the third one.
Yes, indeed. We conceded in transition. Disappointed we conceded 3 goals. No shit, Sherlock. Fuck, we should be better in this type of situation. Fucking right, Poch. Connection between... Now, he made a very strange statement here. He felt that there was a much better connection between fans and players, players and fans. A very good thing that happened today. And then uttered that ridiculous load of bollocks that everybody says whenever we play reasonably well and win. Should be a turning point for us. Now, how many turning points have we had this season? Spurs, turning point.
Enough that we've ended up in the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
We've turned ourselves round in a bloody circle, mate.
Yeah, both City games, turning points. Yeah. And then turning point and then a farty point immediately afterwards. So who's he kidding? He was asked, why did that win mean so much? Very emotional at full-time whistle. And he says, it's because it was unfair. He said, oh, why were we losing the game? And I'd been present. Oh, thank you, Chidge. If I'd been present, I'd have said, because of terrible fucking defensive errors, you nitwit. He put, so important to reduce the gap. Well, we're aware of that. But is that likely to happen with this team? Now, this is the bit where he got upset, but not angry. He contained it. He clearly was very angry, but he got upset with it because the question was, sections of fans want to see you more emotional. Have you bonded with them? I mean, personally, him getting manic at the very end doesn't cut it for me. Was one swallow does not make a summer. To see him crazily dancing in front of the East Stand, waving his arms around, mouthing a few platitudes about, come on, vamos. It's not bonding with fans, I'm afraid. It's just a crazy man on the touchline. Sorry about that, Poch. But anyway, he then put, the team need to show passion for his running and is desperate to get the ball back and score goals. Well, yeah, we all want that. We want the team to get the ball back a lot. That's the passion for our fan, he says, one of them, need to see. I need to be, and then he talks about himself. We need to be calm, clinical. He talks about himself here. Is asked about himself on the touchline. And this is where he got annoyed with the question. I need to be calm, clinical, analyzing, analytic, need to be concentrated and focused. This is not a circus that you need a clown on the touchline. And personally, I think this is me saying this, we've been playing, a clown would be perfect on the touchline, sponsored by Bertram Mills or Billy Smart Circus, but I digress. So this was a very interesting point. He got really annoyed by this. And he made this point twice in the press conference. We are one of the younger team, youngest, you nit, one of the younger team in Europe. We need to be calm. Ooh, I am not a clown, he says. Blimey. Okay. I am a head coach. So interestingly, finished it. He was then asked a question about Cole Palmer. So even in the middle of the next question, he's thinking about this because he attempts to talk about something that becomes completely incomprehensible. He looks back at the bloke. Cole Palmer's question is being asked. He looks back and says, 2017 showed passion against Man United. No, he says. And we're going, ooh, what the fuck is that? And I still don't know what he was talking about. Did he mean the FA Cup final? Passion in the 2017? Is that what he meant?
Last time we beat him at home, isn't it? 2017.
Yeah. So but basically that was his. But I don't know what. But that was.
It was passion shown because Mourinho got riled up by Conte's antics on the touchline.
There we have it then. Yeah. But anyway, so that's what he was. Yes, he's referring to. But nobody got it in the room at all. So anyway, he then went back to the Cole Palmer question. and he's asked, is Cole Palmer a superstar? What's his best skill? And interestingly, he said his mentality. He deals with pressure, which I think is a very interesting thing.
Whereas a lot of the others don't, which is
Whereas
what
the
he's also,
others absolutely right, do not. Absolutely. And he says he is young, his first season, impossible to say if he's not, but he is already a top player, but he can improve. And he was then asked another very strange question by somebody else. Did you enjoy that? Is that what you want to see? And he clearly had a bee in his bonnet about the earlier questions, because he said football is entertainment and fans will connect. I like to score but not concede. Well, we all know this, absolutely. I think he was fazed by the other questions. And he said, once again, we are one of the younger teams in Europe. Whether this is now what he's going to be feeding to the press all the time, we need to grow and improve.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not
wrong.
He's not wrong. But before he used to say, we're getting there, whatever. He is now being very dogmatic.
Yeah, he is. Well, I think that's because he's feeling the heat from upstairs. Can I make a very quick point about that?
Yeah,
because I was talking to this lovely bloke Johnny who sits next to me occasionally, and we were both moaning when we were conceding goals, and he was saying, I suppose, they are, they are young, aren't they? And I said, well, yeah, I think, he said, oh, we can't keep saying, oh, they're young and being forgiving about it. And I said, I think the thing that's the real problem is that they're all young, because when you've got 3 or 4 experienced players in there, what the youngsters can do is that they can, look to the, the more experienced players who can help to dig them out the shit, make them manage the game better. The problem that we have is that the entire fucking team is young. Absolutely. So when we're getting the shit, they don't know what to do. And this is what we see on the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, that was it. 7 minutes. You just think, why did they bother with 7 minutes? What's in, and then they're on to the stuff that they discuss amongst themselves. But, once again, rubbish questions. And he got annoyed. So, but he is getting more annoyed in the press conference.
But do you think that's good? I do.
Yes, because I think he's getting more committed. I think the very fact, actually, I think his explosion at the end of the game wasn't just about bonding. And I think it was actually also about, look, we've beaten a team, for fuck's sake. Will you stop? Will you get off my back? Yeah. I really felt that. There was a touch of that. There was a madness in that celebration, after when the final whistle went, and he addressed it to us. So why the East Stand, in particular, why just
how did he address it? Was he angry with you, or was he just happy with you?
Well, no, angry. Very, very, it was all big emotions. Come on,
yeah, but I was doing that. Yeah. I was doing that.
Well, but I still felt it was if this is somebody who's not a clown and he's not on the touchline, I felt it was excessive. Because I didn't get much joy in that. I got a sense of relief and frustration.
Well, I mean, if you're managing this team, you'd be bloody frustrated.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. But what I'm saying is that it's an outpouring. I felt it was an outpouring. It was much more than hey, we won the game. Isn't that great? It was fucking hell. Who'd have thought that? And yet at the same time, it was also the fact that he was clearly, like all of us, committed to 3-2. We all thought that was it, and we'd thrown the game away again. And yet then he's also going, actually, there is something in this side, because there were two, once again. But the thing is, you've got to debate, is it because Palmer is the difference?
Yeah, clearly. Martin, what do you think about Poch's passion at the end of it?
It looked
you would have had a better view than me.
It looked a bit wild-eyed, but the fact he was sopping wet through probably didn't help either in terms of how it looked. I have no objections if he was just doing a very quiet fist pump. He'd be getting accused of showing no passion. So I don't think he can win either way. I think it's just let a roar of emotion, and I think it came. The entire team were doing it. I'd have liked it more if he'd have gone on the pitch and started giving the old umbrella gesture to Mason Mount. But that's just me. I mean, that's what I would have been doing if I was in the ground. It would be similar to Poch. I don't have that much of a problem with it. And I think some of the spikiness in as described, it's just he's just literally done the interviews, gone down the corridor and done the presser, which is a bit ridiculous once you think about it. He's not even had a chance to have a minute to calm down, and he's you've still got adrenaline coursing through you when you do it. So yeah, his answers probably were going to be a lot more spiky as a result.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've got a lot of sympathy for Pochettino. I think he's been dealt a pretty bad card, but that's not to mitigate the fact that he's he's responsible for some Horlicks too, in terms of his team selection and stuff. But I do think I have a lot of sympathy for him, JK. I really do.
Can I just ask, do you think he was correct to bring on Chalabar and Gilchrist for Gusto and
Disanazi.
yeah? That was
Disasi
no.
was shit, so I was happy for
yeah,
that to happen.
Disasi was shit, but he was less shit than Badiashile. I was surprised that Badiashile stayed on.
Me too.
But
I was more concerned that Gusto had re-injured himself.
Well, exactly. My instant reaction was I was cross because I thought, why has he taken off Gusto, who's a great player, and why has he taken off Disasi and not Badiashile? But what we don't know, of course, is if they'd taken a knock, and that could have been what it was.
And Gusto, remember, had only been 75% fit, they thought, by the Friday. So perhaps it was that. No, I was just intrigued because Gilchrist at the moment doesn't do it, unfortunately. Gilchrist is in Emerson territory. He just plays the ball backwards. That's all he does. Doesn't get forwards. So you're thinking, the energy. Nothing was going through him. And the trouble is you're replacing a top player with somebody who, I know it's injuries as well. Let's accept that. I just felt the energy went off a bit when they both came on, and it was Madueke coming on, who could have come on easily earlier. And Chukwuemeka as well. He actually had a decent game, Chukwuemeka.
I thought those two subs were good.
Yeah.
Although I thought Mudryk was having a good game. I thought Connor was having a decent game, obviously. But I do think Madueke is a really good impact player. Because okay, he's bloody Marmite, he's black and white, because he's as likely to do something utterly bewilderingly stupid as he is to do something absolutely fantastically brilliant. But one thing you will get from Madueke is he will take that ball and he will run at a defence.
He runs it,
yeah.
He takes people on in a way that others don't. You've got to give him that. I agree completely. Yeah.
The number of years, JK, let alone times, we've moaned at Chelsea wingers because they won't take a man on.
Hudson-Odoi was an example, and even Omar Hutchinson when he came on and played for us would not, despite doing it for the youth. But it's interesting because he is taking people on. He's playing for Ipswich, isn't he? He's taking people on a lot.
He's doing very well, apparently, as well.
Richard is saying, well, the ending to the game be virtually impossible to not show emotion. That wasn't the point I was making. It was the emotion that he was showing was odd. It was really, hey.
Well, I mean, you should have. Well, you see, I've only ever sat next to you at a game in the posh bit where I have to be restrained. You should have sat next. You go and speak to Darren. Yeah. Next time you see him and say, what was Chidge like at the final whistle? I've injured myself. I was going so crazy. And it would appear to be that I was really angry. But it's just the emotion coming out, the frustration coming out. So I'd give him a bit of a pass on that. I'm glad to see him showing some passion.
Yes.
Because he's Argentinian. We say this all season. He's Argentinian. These guys are emotional, passionate South American people. I always feel he's holding it in. Yeah,
that's what he is. He said he was. He said all he does is he analysed it in the press conference. I analyse. I look and I analyse. He said, I am not a clown. I do not need to show my emotion.
I did say to Johnny, actually, I said we should do the Benny Hill theme for this lot, because they're playing a bit like that. But anyway,
was that
JK, as always, your press summary was utterly delightful and beautiful, and I love you for it. And I shall reward you now, and Martin, because I know Martin loves this too, just to chuckle at me, but that's fine. I shall reward you now with my lineup for Sunday.
It goes from better to better. I mean, worse to better. No, I mean. Yeah.
Now, okay, this is me team. I've had a bit of a tinker, all right? Because it never ever gets picked. Although actually he did pretty much pick my team last night. I hope you noticed that. I pretty much had it nailed on, apart from Chile, who I didn't realise was ill. So anyway, I have gone Cucurella, Silva, Petrovic, Disasi, Gusto in the back because I think Chilwell, he said he's still feeling a bit ill. And I thought Cucurella had a good game again, actually.
Good run for the penalty as he won.
Yeah. I thought he was all right. He looked pretty solid. I mean, maybe he went to sleep for the second goal, but I still think he did pretty well.
He makes some good runs on the in where he used to for Brighton as well, where he picks the ball up. He makes himself available on the wing. He's actually, I agree completely. He's much better than he was. Much better.
Well, I'll tell you what, just to be controversial here, which is very unbecoming of us, because of course we hate all foreigners and we only like Cobham / English players. Apparently, isn't that right, Martin? His face was a picture. I think Cucurella is in better form than Chilwell. I mean, I think on what I've seen the last few weeks, I would pick him ahead of Chilwell anyway.
Yes, agree completely. Completely.
So there we go. Disasi is the lesser of two evils, as far as I'm concerned. I agree with you. He makes he can look a bit stupid sometimes, but I in a way, what sums up Disasi was when he gave the ball away hideously and comedically halfway up the pitch, and then ran back all the way and did a Bobby Moore-esque tackle in the penalty area, which could have been a penalty if he had got it wrong. And then he celebrated like he'd won the World Cup.
Exactly.
It was brilliant.
But that was so predictable. But they were just fannying about with it. It was just, we were all going once again, no, God, no, stop. Then Connor got it and got fouled. I didn't think it was a foul. And they're all pissing about with it in the middle. You just think, they're going to lose it. They'll lose it. And they do lose it. And as you say, he ran back. He's a bit like the honey monster for me.
I like Disasi.
He's a bit like the honey monster. You thought, we went to put the honey, man. It's all a bit
I like him,
big
mate.
And, oh, dear.
I like him. Now, I've gone silver, completely forgetting that Trevor Chalobah exists. And who actually, I thought when he came on, he looked the most accomplished defender that we had by a country mile. So I might have gone for a bit of a rick here and been persuaded by crowd emotion. I thought it was a bit rum of them to start singing, "Oh, Thiago Silva" after Badia Shield had fucked up. That was a bit harsh, but hey, understandable. So can I make a change? Can I make a late withdrawal?
Can I just ask Martin? Is he allowed to make a change, Martin?
Yes.
Martin,
couldn't care less, mate.
Oh, side with me here.
Yeah, I didn't want to make a very rude joke about a late withdrawal, but there we go.
Oh, well, I mean, put it this way: there's no way in hell that Pochettino is going to pick Silva for the remainder of the season. I suspect. So I think I was influenced by crowd sentiment, but I'd put Chalobah with Disasi because Chalobah I thought looked an accomplished defender, which is really what he is. So. Scrap my Silva and put in Chalobah in instead. Right, this is where it also gets a bit complicated. I would drop Moises. I would absolutely drop Moises. He needs to be put on the naughty step for what he did last night. So I would, and there's another reason for why I'm doing this, but I would move Gallagher back to play as a proper number 8, really, if you like, or on the pivot with Fernandes. Both of those two guys are capable of getting up and down the pitch. This is Sheffield United we're talking about, not Man City. So I would put Fernandes and Gallagher as the 2. And the other reason for that is I would have Chukwuemeka playing in the 10 role, which is where he's supposed to play. Let's see if he's any good. Let's put him there, and the rest of it stays the same. So no Sterling. I'd have Mudryk instead, who I thought did reasonably well. Palmer, who is about as undroppable a player as you can possibly meet at the moment. And Jackson in the middle, but obviously they're all going to float around that 3 up top. So that's my side. JK and Martin, what do you think of that?
Well, I think that, in fact, Silva won't play again. You're right there. And it'll be Chalobah. I think I'd like to think that Chukwuemeka will play, but I think he'll carry on playing Caicedo. Mudryk, I think Mudryk's getting an easy ride. I think he's better, but he's still... the pass he played, in fact, for Cucurella to get fouled for the penalty was immaculate. You've got to give him that. And he's getting better and better, but he still loses the ball, when he takes onto his right foot, it's a tell, he just gets the ball taken off him. But yeah, and as Madueke, unfortunately, just going to be man who comes on late in the game. I suspect that's the case because he seems to do much better when he does play a quarter of a game. But yes, I think it'll be Mudryk, but I think Caicedo will play. The person who I feel really sorry for is Cassidy, who, what the fuck did we get him back from Leicester for? I mean, I don't, is he ever going to play? Or
I did toy with that idea, putting Cassidy in there with Fernandes, but I kind of wanted to put Chukwuemeka in.
Yeah, no, Chukwuemeka will play. Chukwuemeka had a decent half hour. He really did when he came on. I'm not convinced that he'll get rid of the triumvirate, Fernandes, Gallagher, and him. But the problem with Desazi, he's so uncomfortable on the ball if it's played out to him. Near the goalkeeper, it is absolutely ridiculous that hasn't been dealt with in some way.
Well, you can't deal with it if Badiashile and Desazi are not comfortable with the ball at their feet.
Oh, indeed.
You and I know this. You and Martin, all three of us have played football. I personally was complete shit. One of the reasons why I was complete shit was that I wasn't comfortable with the ball at my feet. And you're born with it. You either are comfortable with the ball at your feet or you're not. And it's obvious to me that these guys aren't. I mean, they've got other talents and qualities which have made them into professional footballers. But there's a difference between a player. I mean, I hate to invoke this, but I'm going to. Like Rio Ferdinand, was a footballer, period. And he was comfortable with the ball at his feet. JT was comfortable with the ball at his feet. There are players that are comfortable at the ball at their feet, and there are players that are not. And we've got Silva, absolutely perfectly comfortable with the ball at his feet. But bloody Desazi and Badiashile, Martin, are not, are they?
No, they're two mate weights at the moment. I think they're privately crossing their fingers and hoping that Wesley Fofana comes back fully fit, because, well, again, we had no idea if that's going to happen, because I would imagine Thiago will be released at the end of the year, and then he has to be fit, otherwise we are stuck with Desazi and Badiashile going forward. And we don't know what the future holds for Chalobah either, because he'd be one of those players that counts as pure profit, unfortunately.
Yeah, there we go. What do you think of the team? Sorry, Martin, go on.
Oh, sorry, I was about to get onto that. Yeah, I mean, from what the Travelling Blade was saying about how weak they are at fullback, you've got to hope that Mudryk and Palmer and Madueke, if he comes on, will get some mileage out of it by just burning them with pace.
Yeah.
And pace and stamina. I wouldn't have thought Chukwuemeka would be able to manage 90 minutes, but it would certainly be good to see him start and what he can do, because the few times I've seen him when he's played, he's looked quite impressive. Yeah. Unfortunately, he then gets bloody injured or suffers some sort of minor setback. But yeah, the little glimpses I've seen of him, I've been really impressed.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and it's make do with that back four at the moment. I don't know. Cucurella's been okay, and Gusto's obviously been a bit of a revelation. And someone has just mentioned Levi Colwill, who I completely fucking forgot. Which is
very easy to, isn't it?
It's just like, which player's injured now, and then they're announced, and you think, oh, that's fairly minor. That's a couple of weeks. 4 fucking months later, and you wonder if they've had amputation on it or something. It's unbelievable.
He's had a toe injury, hasn't it? How long does that last?
I don't know. Is it fucking gangrene he's got,
or
something?
Put it in a cast or something, or put it in a rather lovely elastoplast. Does that not help?
But when you hear that, you hear from the old Chelsea players now doing these interviews with John Obi Mikel and the like, and they just casually talk about how John Terry just used to go to training with broken toes and fucking cortisone needles hanging out of him as he's training, and playing through broken toes. Now it seems to be a minimum 4-week absence. It's a much more overly cautious view, and in some cases that's good, because it might stop players ruining themselves with injuries. But it's bloody frustrating when you want to see a team come together and it seems to just be disrupted every week.
Yeah, there we go. Currently in the middle of his rehabilitation program, of course.
That's up there with those stock political phrases you hear.
You know what they should say?
Wishing them well with their future endeavours and all shit like that. Yeah.
They should do the Jeffrey Bernard thing. Levi Colwill is unwell.
Yeah,
leave it at that.
Yeah, pissed.
If only. Well, there you go. There's my fantastic team selection for this week, which I have to say, even if I do say it myself, is a work of utter genius. No,
work of art, Chidge.
I mean, the interesting thing really about it is, I forgot that I put this in the notes, but it's the question is, should we stick or twist? Should he tinker, like I have? Is there a case for Silva? And should Cassidy come in for Moises? Really? I mean, that's kind of aside from what I've decided. If you see what I mean. What do you think, JK?
Who knows?
That was very Gallic, wasn't it? Like,
Bof.
He's smoking a fag as he said it.
Bof. J'ai aucune idée, moi.
I don't care.
Non.
did you ever smoke, JK?
Je m'en fous, non, j'ai jamais fumé, non.
No, never
No,
smoked. You're
no,
a good
parce
boy,
que
aren't you?
Je suis asthmatique.
Ah, oui.
Oui,
Bon,
je
bon,
suis
bon.
allergique.
Okay, d'accord. Okay, the real
Olivier
question.
Dackel.
Oh, Martin, very good.
Oh,
Right,
good.
listen, you lot.
Very good.
Listen, you lot. This is the real question of this evening. This is arguably the most important question of the entire evening, and it's a three-parter. Ready? Say yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. Okay. Right. Will we? A. This is multi-guess, or you could go all three. I could do a D or all of the above. Right. Will we? A.
Yeah.
Not be up for it against a struggling team. B. Fail to break down a team with a low block. Or C. Shoot ourselves in the foot. Or D. All of the above.
D.
Double D, because they will make tits of themselves.
Oh, dearie me. I think I might go home. Oh, I am already home.
I did like
seriously.
Richard Shallers actually suggested our new sponsors for next season. It's going to be a variation. It's called Delicate Athletes.
Oh, yeah.
With
yeah,
our
yeah,
injury crisis. Very good.
Yeah. Indelicate athletes, possibly. They won't have to change too much. I mean, seriously, do you think we're going to do all of those three?
Yeah, because all the evidence suggests that's exactly what will happen. We have, Burnley. You could just rinse and repeat the same fucking thing. You do not know what Chelsea's going to turn up, and unfortunately, even though you do not know, you have a fear of which one is, and 9 times out of 10, you're usually right.
What a sorry state of affairs, JK. After all that euphoria last night.
Yeah, but we've been there too often this season where you can tell that they're not up for it by the fact they just, pansy the ball about. It's just becomes, you think, oh, come on. They're not, they don't have the energy. I mean, he made the point himself. Poch made the point about having energy and this desire to get the ball back. And we've seen it so often where they're so tentative. They come out tentative and it seems to just seep through the whole team. And then obviously the opposition score and they get worse. But if they're tentative and they score, they seem to sort of raise the level a little bit. But they've got to get it into their head somehow to bring it to the opposition, which they did yesterday. And why did they do it yesterday? What's the reason for that? Does he get in their faces? Did he say Burnley was dreadful? Come on, you got to do something. Was it because they were playing United?
Who are shit, by the way.
Who are? Yeah.
They are as shit as I told you. We had that on Monday. You said, "Who is more awful, United or Chelsea?" And we all said they're about the same, and we were right.
That's why I thought it would be 3-3 or 4-4 because we're both just leak goals. So and leak idiocy. So
you know what? We're like a bunch of abused dogs that just don't trust humans anymore. It's just that we just don't trust them, do we? That's what you're saying. I have breaking news for you later on. I'm feeling a little bit more confident. But anyway, is Europe still within our grasp, or should we stop talking about it for fear of even more disappointment? Because I mean, everybody's been going on about this in the press today. If I whiz down and find my league table, where's it gone? Goodness me. Yeah, well, we're 10th. Wow, we're up on page 1. But the point is that we are only 5 points behind United, and we have a game. We don't have a game in hand on them. We do have a game in hand on them. So maybe if we win that, that's 2 points behind them. They are shit, so they will drop points. We can catch Brighton. We're on the same points as Brighton. 1 point behind Newcastle. Game in hand on both of those. 2 games in hand on West Ham, who are only 2 points ahead of us. On paper, we're more than in a shout of, arguably even grabbing 6th. But
perhaps yesterday was a turning point.
Oh. Well, who knows? Who knows? Right. Okay. Listen, I've got some stats for you about the match because I know how much you really love them. Okay.
No response.
Well, I think that said it all. Yeah. Right. Right. Sheffield United have won just one of the last 9 competitive head-to-heads between Chelsea and Sheffield United. They've drawn 1 and lost 7. And Yes, with the Blues netting 2+ goals in 8 of those matches. We have a very interesting kind of track record against Sheffield United, by the way. Overall, in history, we've won 42, drawn 16, lost 28. Now, if you take that into away matches all time, we've actually got a horrible record. We've won 15, drawn 5, and lost 21. We've lost to Bramall Lane a lot in our history. More recently, actually, even in the Premier League era, it's not too clever. We've lost 3 times at Bramall Lane in the Premier League era and won twice. So we lost 4-2 in 93, 1-0 in 93. We won 2-0 in October 2006. They dubbed us 3-0 in 2020, if you remember that, because that's quite recent. We got absolutely caught with our pants down. And we won last time we were up there in 2021. So a rather curious bit of a bogey-ish feel about that, I thought, which was rather not very nice. However, we are now unbeaten in 6 league matches. We've won 3, drawn 3. That's our longest undefeated Premier League streak this season. And we could go undefeated against all 3 promoted sides this season, home and away, if we get a win or a draw here. So far we've drawn 1 and won 4. Now, as we were mentioning Ollie McBurney, weren't we, with Ben? He's been involved in 7 goals in his last 7 home Premier League appearances for Sheffield United. 5 goals, 2 assists. And of course, we all know how wonderful Cole Palmer is. He's obviously scored 11 goals in his last 11 away Premier League appearances for Chelsea. They mean goal involvements. Okay, they did say involved in goals, to be fair. Right, 5 goals, 6 assists. This is my favourite stat, JK. This is an absolute thing of beauty. Right, are you ready for this? Martin, ready for this?
I think I've seen it.
Although he's not managed at Bramall Lane previously, Maurizio Pochettino has a 100% win ratio in Yorkshire. 3 wins versus Hull, 2 wins versus Huddersfield. Goals for 16, goals against 2. Bastards.
Has he never played against Leeds then?
Bastards. No.
He's not managed at Leeds.
No.
Oh, okay.
There you go. 100% win ratio in Yorkshire. That's what
bastards. They're all bastards in Leeds and in Yorkshire.
Just because there isn't a direct comparison stat doesn't mean you should make one up. I think someone really was
stretching there, aren't they?
I think they went through the bottom of the barrel. Fuck's sake.
They're stretching there, aren't they?
Yeah.
They really are. Right, Martin, how do you see it going, mate?
I really do not know. I know I say this all the time. I do not know what the fuck's going to turn up. I really don't. It could be a limousine. It could be a fucked up Ford Fiesta with rust on the doors. I don't know.
It could be both. It could be the limousine. Then the limousine gets nicked.
Yeah, cut and shut.
In the air. Yeah.
Fucking cut and shut or some nonsense like that. It is genuinely no idea what could happen next. I mean, they should be going in buzzing after the result on Thursday. I mean, the one thing that did show, and I know we've got criticised for negativity in it, the fact they came back the way they did proves that to me at least, that these players haven't tossed it off yet, and they're behind the team, they're behind the manager, and they're prepared to perform. They just sometimes forget to fucking do it, which is infuriating. That said, Sheffield United are not great. There is a lot more pressure on them now because of, Luton and Burnley Luton keep losing it's not noticed, but Burnley have picked up a little bit of form. But Sheffield United are under even more pressure. So, they've taken some absolute hammerings at home, but by much better teams than us. But we have got the capability of scoring goals and quickly. And if we do it early, you do see a lot of seats emptying out there. Just people going, fuck this, and going for a pie and a pint rather than watching it. So if they turn up with the right attitude, they're more than capable of scoring goals against these. But it's whether they turn up with that attitude. Toss a coin. I haven't got a clue what's going to happen. If you want me to do a score prediction, I'll say 3-2 because we can't fucking defend.
Yeah, that's funny actually, because I was going to go for 3-2 for much the same reason. I mean, we know Sheffield United can't defend. We know we can't defend, but we are far good at scoring. JK, fill my bosom with optimism for the weekend.
I think it's going to be like Luton.
Okay.
Luton away. I think we're going to score 3 goals, and they're
It was
going to
3-2 there, wasn't it?
and they're going to score 2 in the last few minutes, and it'll be then squeaky bum time. But we'll hold out 3-2.
So we're all going to go. I don't think this has ever happened. We're all going to go 3-2. Because I agree. I think we're excellent at scoring goals at the moment. It has to be said. And shit at defending them. And I think Sheffield. I mean, they'll have a go. I can't see Wilder, sitting there and doing a 11-man defense. I just can't see him doing that. I don't think he'll get away with it up to Yorkshire. So I think they'll have a go. I don't think he will. So I'm going to go 3-2 and all. So we're all going for 3-2.
3-2. Yeah.
3-2. Bloody hell. Well, there we go. You know what it's time for now, JK?
Going home? No.
Sorry.
They played for neither.
That's right. No, they played for both.
Oh, okay. I knew there was a word like both, but neither suited.
Do you not want to play?
And yeah, I'll play. I haven't set my mind to it at all. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, if you don't want to play, I can go and have my dinner.
No. I'd love to play. Does Martin want to play?
Do you want to play, Martin?
I've just flicked it off the comments, so I can't get any clues down the right-hand side. So yeah, let's go.
Oh, Martin, you're so honest.
Does anybody on comments want to? Oh, you see what you mean? On those comments there. Yeah. Any of them want to play? We could.
Yeah, why don't we let them play? Because you're usually rubbish at it, so you might get a bit of help.
Yeah, I'm happy. To do that because I'm not usually rubbish. I'm usually dreadful. Other than Monday,
you were good on Monday.
On Monday, yeah, we forgot Stuart Houston though. By the way,
I know, schoolboy error. You know why that was?
Why?
I was reading it from the screen, so I wasn't able to tick players off. So.
Oh, okay.
And you had a problem.
Okay.
I did.
We've already got Rhiann Brewster's come up here already. Look, God, John. Yes, we know Harley. Yes, we knew that. Please, please.
Right, okay, go. 22 players. 22 players.
Alan Birchnell.
Yes.
John Harley.
Yes.
Vinnie Jones.
Yes.
Dave Besant.
No.
Oh, Turnbull.
No.
Jerry Payton.
No.
Ethan Ampadu.
Yes.
Shipperley.
Yes.
Cahill.
Yes.
Len Badger.
No. Who the fuck Len Badger?
Who the fuck's that?
You make that up. Martin Mole.
Fatty Folk.
Ronald Rat, yes.
Yeah.
Just quietly said one on Fatty Folk.
Yeah, well, William Falk, in fact.
William Fatty Folk, yeah.
Well done. Joke, but actually rather good. There's at least
Jock Finiston.
Yes.
Yes, of course. 100,000 he went there for.
And you already said Stuart Houston.
I mentioned him earlier. Did he play for Sheffield United?
Yes, he did.
Got one without realising it.
Without realising it, yeah.
Nigel Spackman.
Yes.
Did Spackers play there?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, he went up there in 97.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, around that time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players you should know. At least you'll know who they are. If I know them, then you'll know them. And then there are one.
Danny Granville go there at one point.
Nope. There's 1, 2 that you will 3, 4 that you will have no idea about.
Are they the very old ones?
They are.
Jack Cork, did he play?
Nope. Do you need some clues?
Yeah, go on, yeah.
This guy was a striker for us in the 90s who would have made a very good racehorse.
Shergar.
Well done, Martin. Paul Furlong.
Oh, not Shergar.
No, not Shergar.
No, he was shot. That's not really no good at all.
Made into dog food. Right. This guy was our youngest ever scorer.
Hamilton.
Chico Hamilton.
Yeah, well done, Martin.
Excuse me, I was there as well with that. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I saw him score the goal.
Photo finish.
Header against Spurs at White Hart Lane. I was there. He was 16.
Okay, this guy was also in Only Fools and Horses.
Trigger.
David Lee?
I should just go home, really, shouldn't I?
David Lee, wasn't it?
Yes, it was David Lee.
Yeah. Rodders.
This guy was often seen in the dugout at Fulham and Crystal Palace.
Ray Lewington.
Very good, Martin. This guy was also at Fulham and only played for us for about 3 times and was utter shit, even though he was a great player in his day.
Blimey.
He's also the most miserable ex-footballer I've ever met.
Paul Parker.
Yep.
I've got it from your description of him being a miserable twat.
Did that bloke? Did the 1954 player John Harris play for them?
Nope. But this guy, he was on the wing for us in the 90s.
On the wing in the 90s. Oh.
Yeah. And we sang the Keithy Weller song to him rather inappropriately, really.
Blimey.
He also played for Wimbledon. I think.
Just where it turns out it's MK Dons and it completely fucks it up.
No, I think he played for Wimbledon. He was also quite bald. And his first name was Terry.
Terry Phelan.
Thank you.
He wasn't bald.
He's a fullback. He was a fullback, wasn't he?
He had a shaven head.
I'm getting him mixed up with somebody else. Anyway,
He had a shaven head.
He didn't last bald as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, God.
Also called Bobby.
Bobby Stewart.
Yes. Right, you've got no chance for the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4. So I won't bore you with that. But it is my favourite Chelsea player of all time, Billy Braun. For obvious reasons.
It's a comic book character, isn't it? Come on, admit it.
It's just absolutely brilliant. Martin Moran.
Or Moran, if you're from where I'm from.
Is it Moran?
It's more. Kevin Moran was in.
What era was that? What era did
Martin? I'll tell you in a minute. Martin Moran, Eric Oakton, and Joseph Walton. Right now, the older ones that you don't really know. Billy Braun played for us between 1907 and 1911. 99 appearances, 11 goals. He was an England international with 2 caps. Fatty Falk, 1905 to 06, 35 appearances. He let in no goals. He scored no goals. He let in probably more than that, obviously. 17 clean sheets. England international 1. And I'm amazed about how few appearances Fatty Falk's made for us, considering the legendary status we afford him. And he only had 1 England cap. That's quite remarkable.
How long did he play for us again? Tell us.
A year, a season.
A year.
Okay. It was some of the England international caps back then were like selection committees and after you clawed jobs. That's why you get like people who had 3 caps, 8 goals, and they never played for England again.
Martin Moran, 1905 to 1908, 65 appearances and 7 goals. Eric Oakton, 1932 to 1937, 102 appearances and 30 goals. Joseph Walton, 1906 to 09, 53 appearances and 0 goals. And Nathan very kindly put on there, don't forget Stuart Houston tonight, which of course we did not. So there you go. Well played. You didn't do too badly, actually. Really.
We improved as the evening went on.
I was talking about they played for both, not for your general.
Oh, okay.
Tonight, but I thought you've been wonderful all night. Actually, I have to say,
Nathan can't use his caps lock properly, or his shift key's fucked because he just put John Harris managed Sheffield United, but
he's not on the bloody website, mate. So he didn't play, did he?
Yeah,
no, he managed them. I knew there was a connection with Harris. I knew that.
I'm more amused at the shift key going arse ways on his keyboard.
I love it. Well done. Nathan's clearly had a pint or two. I hope so. Right, that I'm afraid is all we've got time.
And apparently, lastly, Fatty Folk played cricket for Derbyshire.
Did he?
According to Jenny Matthews.
Yeah, Jenny would know. She's from up from that part of the world. But there you go. Right, as I said, that I'm afraid is all we've got time for tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it, as I was saying to the boys. We will be back on Monday with me, JK, and Dane. We don't get to see Dane very often, so it'd be nice to see him. 7:30 p.m. to report back on Sunday's match against Sheffield United. Now, I know we are in. I don't even look at the email account to see how many emails that we've got in for In Off the Post, because I just feel it'll be of massive proportions. I promised to do it at the weekend and have a look. And I don't know if I could squeeze a show in this week. I'll have a think. Anyway, we need to do one. I'm aware of that. But for avoidance of doubt, the email address for your emails is chelseafancast@gmail.com. Just a quick reminder that to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/ChelseaFancast. There is no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, and you'll help support the Chelsea Fancast. So there you go. Martin, absolutely delightful to see you. As I said, it'd be really nice to see you for a pint sometime soon. It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. Be a few weeks' time. Obviously, can't go to the next couple of games for various reasons, but yeah. As the end of the season approaches and get a bit more daylight, I'm sure we will. And hopefully a bigger one in the summer. You never know.
Yeah, we will have to do our annual. Where's he gone?
He's disappeared.
Oh,
do.
I think he must have a technical issue. He better hurry up because if he doesn't come back, we're going to go. Yeah, be nice to see you. As I said, right. I'm going to have to shut the show without JK. So I don't know if it was not working for him or something, but never mind. Just very quickly, you can follow the show on all the social media at Chelsea Fancast. Me at Stamford Chidge, Jonathan at Jonathan Kydd, and of course Martin at Martin_Wickham. Thanks for listening. See you on Monday. Until then, keep it blue, keep it carefree, keep it Chelsea. Up the Chelsea.